Thomas the Tank Engine is owned by Mattel. No money is being made off this podcast. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you.
You might think it's easy, sitting around in a dark shed with nothing to do but stare at a shed door, but once you roll back into the real world, you start to notice things you never noticed before. With no one around, it's easy to notice ghosts floating around, and the only one by your side in that moment is Jesus Christ. And to be honest, he's all you really need. I'm Percy the Green Engine, and this is the Specters of Sodor.
Looking back on it now, I'm realizing something. My plan to try to catch Nikki was kind of terrible. I mean, me and Thomas were just sitting in the middle of the main line, and Toby too. So what if she hit one of us? She would probably just feel even worse thinking she caused another accident. Anyway, after Toby had his accident with Diesel, they were both taken away to the small work shed next to Tidman's sheds to be repaired. And me and Thomas were sent back to our sheds, and we were punished.
I hope you two are satisfied with what you've done. Not only have you delayed the train of food for the people of Sodor, you also caused both Toby and Diesel to collide, damaging the rails themselves and sending Diesel's driver to the hospital.
We're not proud, sir.
If we weren't in a pandemic, I would give you two a longer punishment. However, I have to keep up with demand, so you two only be in the sheds for a week.
Yes, sir.
So Topham Hatt walked away, looking rather disappointed with both of us. Thomas felt awful for what he did, but I thought what we did was completely justified, at the time. Emily noticed this, and she was cross.
This is your 33rd time you've done something crazy. You need to stop wandering off.
I don't tell you how to read the rulebook, so don't tell me how to try to interact with ghosts. I'm trying to help the island, Emily. The fact that a ghost exists on this island at all is, Thomas?
Thomas, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
What's wrong with me? I'm supposed to be the wise one now, and I do something like that? What kind of a role model am I? How do you keep me from falling to bits? How much of that did you hear?
Quite enough.
I'm sorry. No matter what I'll do, I'll never be able to have what it takes to be a role model.
Oh, Thomas, you want to be a mentor?
Why didn't you tell us? That's wonderful.
Because Annie and Clive were gone. I thought I was supposed to know how by myself. But I can't. Every time I try to be the smart one, I do something stupid.
It's okay, Thomas. Don't cry. Annie and Clarabelle didn't always know what to do.
They didn't?
No, they used to be rude, impatient, and outright selfish.
It turns out, Annie and Clarabelle used to be just like Thomas when he first came to Sodor.
Hey, don't dent my buffers.
Show some respect for the beautiful coaches.
That's why you have buffers, so your paint doesn't chip.
But our buffers are beautiful.
When they were on my trains, I was straining to keep them from bringing the train to a stop. But one day Sir Topham Hatt told me about you rescuing James, and I was asked to bring 2 spare coaches down the line for your branch trains. I knew which coaches needed a change.
I can't believe you're taking this to an engine with a lower ranking.
Hey, don't talk to others like that. Thomas has earned his branch line, and he shouldn't have to put up with coaches who talk badly behind his bunker.
He's right, Annie. We don't need to show off anymore. Everyone in this world is equal.
You're correct. I'm sorry, Eddie. We won't dampen his spirits.
Good to hear. All the same, I wish I could help guide Thomas in the right direction while he's running his line.
Okay, tell you what, we can teach Thomas what he needs to know.
Yes, sounds like fun. We'll do our best.
Becoming a role model doesn't happen overnight, Thomas. It takes time and patience.
Thank you.
And little Thomas, since you and Percy are stuck with us, we can help you practice.
Thanks, Gordon.
And for the rest of the day, Thomas and Edward talked and talked and talked about how to help different engines in different situations. Now you're probably all thinking, I'm being a little quiet in this situation, and I have to admit that's intentional. I had been so focused on trying to help Nikki that I didn't take into consideration what anyone else was going through. And to be honest, it was my fault Thomas was going through this. I completely forgot that he wanted to be a role model and become a better engine. I kind of forced him into my plan. So, I tried not to take a peep that day. I kept all my thoughts in my head, and I kept thinking to myself, what was the best way to help Nikki?